Mr. Speaker, this is the end of my statement. I thank you.
Thank you. Well done, Minister. Members, back to you. Majority. Let me see the hands so that I take the first batch of 10. Then so number 1 will be Majority Leader. Number 2 will be Mumina. Number 3 will be KJ. Number 4 will be Lenguris. Number 5 will be Unainua zaidi. I give to Nabi. Number 6. Remember your numbers. Number 6, which is the bandit corner. The member for Turkana in white jacket. That is Protas. Yes, Protas. That is number 7. I'll give to Kisumu East. Yes, Kisumu. That is Shakil. Number 8. I'll give to Lamu East. Number 9. I'll give to Kemei. And number 10, I'll give to Makali Mulu. Let's start with those. One question or comment each. Very quickly, Minister will then respond to all of them. Then we do another round. Start, Majority. Kila mtu akumbuke namba yake.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, namba yangu ilikuwa namba 1.
Yes.
Na swali yangu itakuwa rahisi kwa waziri. Waziri, umetuambia kuwa hali ya usalama ya nchi iko dhabiti na inaendelea kuwa dhabiti. Lakini umesema the evolving challenges and emerging threats like Gunism, a mob culture, and unfortunately, the issues you have spoken to even on narcotics. These issues don't just affect, and alcohol abuse don't just affect the people or the citizens, but also security agencies. And there is also an emerging culture now, and I want to point you to the case, or 2 cases. One in Karatina, where a police officer shot dead a young man who was involved in an altercation with other people that never involved the police. And at that time of the night, even from the videos that were circulating on social media, you can clearly tell either that officer was intoxicated or something to do with the abuse of narcotics. In the same breath, 2 weeks later, in Kitengela, another officer is said to have shot some young man who were also fighting in a pub. And it is said it was a senior police officer. And the fact that these shootings, especially that one in Kitengela, happened around or in a pub, I would want to hear what you and your security agencies are doing to stem that emerging threat or culture among security agencies, either abusing drugs and alcohol. And also, when I was growing up, I thought officers were never allowed to be in bars armed. And I thought that was a police culture then. I don't know what happened now, that police officers can go to bars with their guns and also shoot people like they did in Karatina to that young man in the full view of cameras, Waziri. I therefore want to hear from you, what is it that you are doing? And I see you have your DIG and other senior officers from the security agencies. Even psychiatric or psychosocial support of officers, because they are also confronted by the same challenges that the citizens are confronted with. The issue of alcohol and drug abuse among us police officers is also very prevalent. And I say this also as a citizen who goes around and I find armed officers who are intoxicated. I have seen officers with a G3 leaning on a bank wall at the bank entrance, and he's chewing Mira and Mugoka, an officer in uniform. That's what I was saying, Waziri. I don't know what is happening to this culture. You've spoken about emerging cultures of Gunism, mobs. Recently, you've seen in Huruma that culture of mobs. And that also points to the work of intelligence officers to be able to nip these mobs in the bud before they become a problem. Those mobs are the same mobs that are being used because they are evolving. They are gangs that then form into mobs. And those are the ones being used by political leaders as goons to disrupt the peace in other people's rallies and meetings. And you've had pronouncements, as you have said, from political leaders threatening each other with goons. If you do not nip these things in the bud now, in the run-up to a general election, we are playing with fire. Waziri, this house was invaded on the 24th of June. To date, we have not seen any meaningful prosecution of the people who are very well captured on camera.
Yes.
Goons from gangs within Nairobi that are known and that are affiliated to political leaders, including members of parliament who sit in this house. And I know they obtained court orders to stop them from being arrested or being prosecuted from the activities of infiltrating the otherwise peaceful demonstrations by the young people of Kenya who are involved in a legitimate protest and picketing. But the infiltration by organized goons and gangs, especially from east of Nairobi, known because the police, by the time they tried to arrest the political leaders who were involved, they ran to court. Again, we do not see any effort from yourselves, from Interior, or from the police, or from the Attorney General's office, to deal with the matters in court, to challenge those cases where people are using court orders to injunct the police from charging them on criminal activity. Because if we allow ourselves to use court orders to injunct the police again from arresting people who are organizing crime, tomorrow, who knows, I'll get a gun and shoot somebody, and I just walk to court and get a court order and I get away with murder. Waziri would also want to hear what you are doing now at a policy level in the ministry to guide under the office of the Attorney General to challenge some of those matters even in court. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I gave your leader that latitude, the rest in the interest of others' interests. You just ask one question or one comment. Mumina? Women Rep Isiolo. There's a mic next to you.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Waziri, for that presentation. Speaker, I want to begin by commenting on the Maliza operation that has begun in earnest in Isiolo County. I wish to report that that operation is paying off, Waziri. How I wish we started this long time before many people got affected. However, my quick question on that is, after the operation is concluded, how do we avoid re-emerging of such banditry again, especially within the town centers? Number two, how are we protecting... Waziri, I'm affected in a big way. Some people are not affected by insecurity matters here. I have two more questions. Please.
Ask one more only.
For the operation, how are we protecting the elderly, the children, and the women? And finally, my last question, Waziri, is on cross-border engagement when it comes to pastoralists sharing resources across the administrative boundaries. Waziri, there is this trend where pastoralists from neighboring counties come in, they are allowed to come in, they come in without permission and they disobey the grazing rules, and that leads to conflict. How do we deal with that? Secondly, they come in, they settle. Waziri, I'm done. Speaker, I'm done. They come in, they settle, and they make territorial claims. And they come to you and gazette those boundaries as their own. How do we stop that? Because it normally leads to a big conflict among the pastoralists. Thank you.
Are you saying that invaders then gazette areas?
Yes, they normally get it.
Anyway, Waziri, you'll answer that. I thought gazetting areas is an exclusive responsibility of government. KJ?
Honorable Speaker, I thank you, and I appreciate the Cabinet Secretary's update. And Mr. Speaker, as you would know, this House has not been idle. We have been able to pass and we continue to oversee the implementation of very key legislative frameworks, including the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act of 2018, Mr. Speaker, the Data Protection Act of 2019, the Kenya Information and Communication Act, KICA, especially CAP 411A, as amended, and the newly put in place National Cybersecurity Strategy Framework Instruments, which have been operationalized under existing laws. Mr. Speaker, these were designed specifically to strengthen the detection, the prosecution, the digital forensics, data governance, and protection of critical information infrastructure. So, Mr. Speaker, in light of these existing legal tools, could the Cabinet Secretary clarify whether the current challenge is one of capacity, of coordination, of funding, or are there gaps in law, Mr. Speaker, and whether there are specific amendments that are required to the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act or any other related statutes, Mr. Speaker, to address the emerging threats such as the AI-enabled fraud, the deepfakes, cross-border cyber espionage, and Mr. Speaker, whether there is any additional policy that is required or budgetary or legislative support that the ministry requires from this House, Mr. Speaker, because Kenyans today, Mr. Speaker, are being exposed to such cyber crimes as have never been seen before, Mr. Speaker. Whereas, Mr. Speaker, the minister is saying that they have been able to cover that space. You realize that we as politicians, Mr. Speaker, have a thick skin. But what the citizens are being exposed to, Mr. Speaker, like this morning, we woke up to a poster inviting people to a food allocation in a region of the Dagoretti South constituency, where a person boldly puts up a poster on Facebook and invites people on my behalf to a food distribution exercise. And while I, as a politician, am very well covered and I have a thick skin, Mr. Speaker, the people out there do not know that these are deep fakes and they are being done using social media, whereas the minister is telling us that the instruments that they need are in place. The deep fakes, Mr. Speaker, the fake accounts. And Mr. Speaker, if we go into an election with this, what is going to happen is going to be a barrage of misinformation that might lead even to insecurity for this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm very keen to know what the minister requires from this House so that he can be able to operationalize the laws that we have passed in this House for computer misuse and protection against fakes and deep fakes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Number 4. Lenguris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to appreciate the Minister for the work they have done to reduce the issues of banditry. Although we are still experiencing some issues here and there, we are still losing some lives. Now it's being escalated by the ongoing drought. But I'm standing here, Mr. Speaker, today to bring an issue of unlawlessness in Maralal town. Mr. Speaker, of late we are experiencing a lot of challenges because of the gangs who are building up in our towns. I'm talking about Wamba town and Marara town. Recently, there is a group of gangs that are really terrorizing people in Marara town. They break into shops, they steal shops in broad daylight, they break into homes. Now they've resorted even to kill people using their knives. And this is happening in broad daylight, Mr. Speaker, when we have all the security agencies in Marara town. And even today, even last week, we buried a young man because he was stabbed by people who are coming to come and steal his chicken. Mr. Speaker, it's so sad for us to be burying people just because of gangs that are building up in Marara town in presence of all the security agencies. In Marara town, that is the headquarters of the county. And that is where we have all the agencies staying there. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the minister, please, because we have officers who have overstayed in those stations, and they have gotten used to the culture, and they're just like they are not doing anything. So I'm kindly asking the minister if they can transfer all the security officers who have overstayed in Maralal, so that we can have people who can protect the security, who can provide security and protect people and their properties, because it's really getting out of hand. We are losing people each and every day, even those who are going to the Soko to sell their goods and even to provide food to the people who are living far from the towns. But they are attacked on the way, they are killed, and nothing is happening. Nobody is being arrested. So we don't know how long we are going to experience this. How many more lives are we going to lose so that people can act? How many more homes can be broken into so that people can act? So I'm kindly requesting that this time we need an action, and if nothing can be done, people are going to protest in our towns. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Number 5, Nabi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is specific. Waziri, what are you doing to ensure that the resources available to you is equitably distributed in all parts of the country? I'm saying this because out of 5 police stations in my 2 sub-counties, only 1 has a vehicle.
Thank you. Number 6.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my question goes to the CS that incidents of banditry and cattle rustling are increasingly taking shape in Turkana County, despite the ongoing operation in some parts of the Kerio Valley. And I wish to ask, because most of these raids are taking place in oil-rich areas, is there any relationship between what is going on in that particular place? Because there's been FDP public participation going on in Turkana County, and these are areas where these particular raids are taking place. And if the government, and what measures is the government putting in place to ensure that these bandits that are not running away from their areas where the operation is taking place to come and terrorize people from areas that do not have insecurity areas? Is the government taking any measure to contain these people so that they don't run away from where they are currently, so that the operation or the SOG can be able to get them? Thank you.
Number 7.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask the Minister, we've had the gazettement of 5 locations and 9 sub-locations, but they have not been operationalized. As such, we have a security problem in Kisumu East. We have tried to work with the community policing. They are not able to help us because they're not being paid, and the policy and operationalization of community policing is not working. Finally, Mr. Chair, we have NGCDF has put together 4 police stations lately. We have no vehicles, and there's encroachment in some of the police station government land. I've approached the ACC on this, and I request the minister to kindly look into this and supply us the 4 police vehicles that the IG had said he would send to us. Thank you, sir.
Number 8.
Mr. Speaker, swali langu ni juu ya utovu wa usalama Lamu. Kwa nini tumeng'ang'ana